Guys, this is my project 0, and here we have the source code for the index HTML. So it's this side. It's very simple. It's linked with Bootstrap and has a link to the CSS file, which is created with the index CSS. And we have a navigation bar also from Bootstrap, and from there you can go to the other sites like about me, portfolio, or contact, jokes, like so, and pops up blue. So you can access every page from the other pages. And the active page has another ID, so it shows up specific when you're on the page. And yeah, we have on this page, on the home page, we have a center box, which is also on the other side, on the other sides, yeah. And it has also an ID, which is called center box. And we will see how it's designed in the CSS soon. And just a small paragraph with some line breaks, and that's it for the home page. And the About Me page, let's see, we have everything is the same. So we have the navigation bar, which is the same. The center box is the same, just with About Me. And we've got a paragraph also with an own ID, and another image of me. This is me, and it's mobile responsive. So do we need their ID, or should we use class? I'm currently a little bit confused because we actually just use ID when we use it just once and not on every site. So I am actually wondering if we should use class here instead of ID. I think it doesn't matter in this example, but the programming style would be more consistent if this is class. So let's go to portfolio. We have another center box, another small paragraph, and here we use the column system of Bootstrap. So we have 3 different settings for large, for medium, and for small. So if it's large, every picture takes 3 of 12 in one row. So we have 3 times 4 equals 12. And if we shrink it down, we've just got 2. So that means we are in the middle. So this class is active via the media query. So we've got 2 times 6 is also 12, and when it's small, we've got just 1, because 1 times 12 is 12. And at the end, we've got another Bootstrap component, which is a button, and it's a primary button, and the href is to active, so active is here. So if we're, for example, when we're mobile and we want to go to top because the gallery is quite long, and then we can just click it and we're on top. Let's move to contact. On contact, we've got another center box and center box and a paragraph. And here, this is a table also from Bootstrap, and it's a very simple table, just with two columns and 3 rows with my my addresses and the Instagram and the Facebook are linked to these websites. So if you click on them, you will land on my Facebook and my Instagram account. And that's it for this page. And the last page is a funny one, just because I love humor. Some jokes inside an unordered list. And we will see soon in the index and in the CSS file, or in this SCSS file, how these are designed. But it's very simple, just an unordered list with list items, and these list items are paragraphs. So let's move to SCSS file. At the top I declared 4 variables, so the main color, the second color, the third color, and the main font. And I did this so we can rapidly change the whole layout. So you can see we have all the colors and the fonts are these variables. So if we change something here, we can change it on the complete site. That's very nice. And here we've got 2 templates, and yeah, we can see that we colored the background of every page with the main color, which is this one. So it's nearly white. So every time you see main color, it's this white beige tone. And for the paragraphs, we've got center alignment. So every paragraph is center aligned. The font size is fixed with 20 pixels. So if you increase the width, the pixel size stays the same. And we chose one main font at the beginning, so times is for every text on this page. So the image is 100% width, so it means it fills up the whole container, as mentioned here. And an unordered list padding. Where do we have the unordered list? So here's the unordered list. That means that we have some space here. And the list items, that's it's quite interesting, because we have here the extra boarding for every list item, and we've got another border radius, and you can see the difference between this edge and this edge, because this is much sharper, and there we have some flattening. And we want the list style none, so we don't have for the unordered list all these dots for every list item. We don't want this. And inside the list. So this is all SAS nesting, which is then converted into CSS. So you can see right here, yeah, this is changed. We chose here that the text align is left, so these are even if these are paragraphs, they are not center aligned, and we did this because we defined these paragraphs more specific than this one. Let's move on to the tables. We have the font size, 20 pixels, like almost everywhere. We've got center alignment of the text and the variables, and the links is just the third color. So the color of the links is the color of the other blue here when you hover over the navigation bar. It's the same. So we have got so these were all the different elements. So we move on to the classes. And the container class, I just the main part of the container CSS is defined by Bootstrap, and just added padding 2 pixels. And for the rows, we used them in the portfolio. Just added some padding and some margin, so the images don't collapse and have some spacing around. And the row has a second color. So where do we need that? It's for these texts. We have the color, so it's affects these texts, and then I chose the class inside the row. So all these divs, div tags, they all have the call small 12 class. So it chose this one randomly. So I could wait a second. Font. I could just move this one here. It would make no difference, because here we have got some styling for the text, and there's also some styling, so it's actually a little bit confusing. And at the bottom we've got the button, and I wanted it to be in the center and not on the left or on the right, or displaying the block, so it would be from left to right. So I displayed it as flex and justified the content in the center. So we move on to the styling of the navigation bar. So the navigation bar is, let's look at the navigation bar. It's an unordered list containing some links, and we want to display it flex. So if we display it flex, that means that the links are not as a normal are not ordered as a normal list, like from top to bottom, but from left to right. So it makes it able through flex, display flex. And we want to justify the content in the center, so we've got the links in the center, not on the right or on the left, similar to the button. And also we don't want list style. Yeah, padding inline starts. So this this was something I looked up. I had some spacing on the left, and this shouldn't make sense actually, because we've got inline, which is actually a value of display. So if we don't have inline but flex will make sense, but I'm not quite sure. It made it look a little bit nicer and more center. So yeah, there's think it's necessary here. And inside the navbar, so we've got here the styling for the individual links, which are displayed blocked, and we've got no text decoration on everything standard, background color, font size, padding, and the font style italics, so nothing special. Here we did something we also did here. So we have got our templates and then we inherited, so we don't have to use it twice and write everything again, which is very nice. And here we move on to the IDs. And in this case it's the center box, so it's this box, and we've got a bigger font size, so it looks bigger, has a border and padding, display table, and a width of 100%. So we use all the space inside the div. So if we could imagine here is like the div. Alright, so the portrait is here. It's margin 0 auto, that means it's in the center and with 100%. And the gallery, so we have got around the gallery, we have got a border, and the active link. So this is what I announced earlier. So we've got here this special link, which is flipped in the second and the main color. So the other links are here second color, and here main color, and here it's just the other way around. And if you hover over the active link, it behaves like if you hover over the other links. So if you wouldn't have this, you wouldn't see the blue when you hover over the active link. And so we are on the bottom, and there is a media query for the small devices. That means that the navigation bar, alright, this is where it gets interesting, because we've got here navigation bar which is horizontally, and then if we move smaller, it changes that the navigation bar switches to this vertical arrangement. And what we did here is that we changed the flex flow. So we've got still the display to flex, but we changed the flex flow from the standard to the column wrap. And we didn't want to have padding, so we can use the full size. So it's from the left to the right, and the links are in the center, so the text is not on the left or the right.